Welcome to another edition of the Lighting Guys Show. The show is done in collaboration with AV Nation TV. It's about lighting design, and lighting technology, and the integration thereof. My guest today is Krishna Mistry. She's a lighting designer from the UK. This is our first transatlantic podcast episode. So, hello, Krishna. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you for you it's the mid-afternoon. We got up a little early, but for you it's middle of the day,
Yeah,
right?
it's nice. Yeah, it's the afternoon. It's warm outside.
It is freezing here in New York, just so you know. I think it's 18 degrees Fahrenheit here.
Ouch.
Um, yeah. So, we were talking before we started. The last few interviews we've done here on the show have been with sort of grizzled veteran lighting designers who've been doing this for a long time and across
hmm
medium. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about what your work is, what your focus is, and sort of where you see the lighting industry at this point. So give us a sense for what you're working on these days.
I work on quite varied projects. At the moment, I'm working on Tottenham Stadium. So it's a brand new stadium for them that's being built. I have done stadiums previously. I do a lot of landscape design around Wembley Stadium, and that's quite current right now. And I also do a lot of projects in the Middle East, and at the moment, a lot of our work is going out in the Middle East. So yeah.
So now I imagine, this might be a stereotype, but from what I've
hmm
seen, the budget for Middle Eastern projects tends to be robust. They like
Yeah,
lighting.
they
Um,
love lighting.
and so, when you're working on these kinds of projects, what kind of technologies are you drawing on? What kind of light sources are you using?
Right, so the last project I worked on, I did exterior and interior stuff, and LEDs is exactly what they wanted because we had to look at ASHRAE and we were trying to meet some watts per meter targets. And the problem I first had with LEDs is that it doesn't handle the heat, or it doesn't like the heat out in the Middle East. So what we did was I spoke to a lot of manufacturers about how we resolve this, tried to get manufacturers who have a lot of experience out in the Middle East and have products that are good for these temperatures. And that was the basis of my conversations with everybody before I managed to get a good spec in. But we did go for LED light sources in the end. And we managed to find good products for the project. So it worked out well.
So, I mean, would you say at this point, I mean, here in the States,
hmm
we're making this transition from more traditional light sources, halogen, fluorescent, metal halide,
hmm
to LED, with a little bit of kicking and screaming, but not not a lot. I think the technology has sort of gotten to the point where it's reliable enough now. Um,
Yeah.
but do you feel that, well, I wouldn't ask you to give you a percentage, but do you feel like the pendulum has swung so the majority of your specs are now LED, or is this still a mix of product?
The majority is still LED,
Mm,
and that's now becoming a client preference as
mhm,
well. I have been involved in projects such as Wembley, where they've previously used metal halide light sources. It's something they want to stick with and are adamant that they do not want to change it, and that just goes down to maintenance. It's, the guys that are on site, they have a stack full of these light bulbs, and they're like, we don't want LEDs because
right.
they don't want to make it different and just difficult. So it's hard to kind of change it,
Mhm.
but we stick to LED where we can at the moment.
Sure, sure. So
hmm
primarily your work is focused on architectural lighting, I'm gathering.
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
And so, for you, as a lighting consultant, are you heavily involved on the control side, or do you write a sort of broad control spec and let another specialist go in on it, or how do you handle the control aspect of things?
we often do have a more focused meeting with our clients about the controls, actually. It is quite important for us to get that correct at the beginning. Once we're happy with it and once it's yet designed, we do send it off to, a manufacturer or, whoever we use for the project to kind of take control of that after.
Got it. So like when it comes to commissioning the system on site, the reason I'm asking this is because, at least here in the States, I think that when it comes to architectural projects,
Mm-hmm.
controls tend to be the part that everybody has a piece of, so no one really owns it. Like there's the lighting consultant, there's the architect a little bit, there's the people, and then
Mm-hmm.
there's the end user. And because everyone sort of has an opinion on what the control system is, no
Mm-hmm.
one really defines what the control system is and goes forward. Um, how do you address that? How do you tackle those kinds of like real day-to-day end user issues?
Well, I did do a coffee shop as well, and what we did when we had to go for the commissioning is to have the clients on board, and we just worked together, and it was
Mm,
literally just scene setting, really basic stuff, but just so that they were there and they saw exactly what we were doing, and that way it wasn't just me taking control of how I wanted it to look. They were there as well, and they got to have a hand in it.
right.
I think, bigger projects, it's quite difficult to have that. And it's often that they take more control than we would like to.
Right, right, sure.
Yeah.
And are you guys? This shows my ignorance, but
Mhm.
are you specifying a lot of a lot of dolly systems, or are you sort of all over the place, or what control protocols are really driving your
Um,
specs?
Dali is probably the one we use the most.
Mm,
Um, sometimes we do the basic 1 to 10 dimming. DMX I used for special feature lighting,
sure.
obviously specific to the project. However, it's Dali that we use mainly.
Yeah, you see, and it's amazing because dolly is such a flexible, interesting protocol, and it's made
Yeah.
zero market penetration in the United States. No one knows how to
Oh,
use it.
really?
Oh yeah, no one even knows how to even come close in terms of
Oh, wow.
addressing fixtures and doing all the things that Dolly is
Yeah.
capable of. I mean, on the LED side, I would say 75% of the spec is 0 to 10 volt. Um, and then you'll get some triac and leading edge dimming, and it's really
Yeah.
not the smartest way to be dimming these fixtures at all, but it's
Hmm.
just a protocol that no one's used to in the States, and so it's um, I've shown people videos of like I think it was a building in Germany where they addressed every fluorescent troffer on a different address in the dolly system, and they were able to like make little Tetris squares and do all kinds of fun things with them. And people were like, "Well, that's great. We're never going to do it." I was like, "Oh, okay, that's awesome." Um,
Yeah.
um, so talk to us a little bit about the role of a lighting consultant on your big
Hmm.
projects. I think in the States, there are some prominent lighting designers, but the vast majority of projects don't hire a lighting consultant or don't think to hire a lighting consultant. Do you think
Okay.
it's more or less the same in the UK and the US? Or,
Um, well, it's slightly different because I work within an engineering firm, so
okay,
a lot of our projects do come through the company, and I've got all the teams and disciplines, and we work together. Um, there have been times when I've known of projects that haven't had lighting designers, and then they've come to us after to fix the problem. So I do find that there are still projects that don't hire lighting designers, and I mean, we've got our MEP team who do some of the lighting design, and then they do come to us for advice. But it's
mm-hmm.
just, I think it's still difficult to try and, make them understand that, get the lighting designers in first, and then you can really see difference.
Right, right.
Mm.
And are you doing a lot of pre-visualization work for your clients? Are you doing a lot of renderings, a lot of photorealistic stuff? Or
Yeah, I mean, for Tottenham that I've just finished doing the facade lighting for, I've just done a lot of Photoshop conceptual renders, just to give a basic idea of the effect we want to get. I find that's such a great way to even start a conversation about what their thoughts are about the facade design, and I find that just sketches really help to just get ideas going rather than
sure,
having something quite realistic.
I agree. And so it's funny you should say that because I think that the assumption with younger lighting designers is
Hmm.
that they live in the world of renderings and I've always, I shouldn't say always felt, but I feel like for lighting specifically, sometimes renderings are dangerous to show a client because you can never fully capture in a rendering what light is going to look and feel like in a space.
Yeah.
So I was kind of hesitant to show clients a
Hmm.
full-blown rendering because then they get that image in their head, and
Yeah.
you may not replicate it 100% what the computer
Hmm.
is doing. So I'm always
Hmm.
sort of, I think what you're saying about a rough sketch or something that gives the idea of what you're going for, it makes
Yeah.
fewer visual promises. It's sort of.
Yeah.
Um, so what's your typical design workflow with a client? How does that work for you guys?
So we start off, well, personally, I always start off with a project meeting and we just kind of sit down and have a conversation about just get some ideas rolling and get a feel of exactly what they want and what my thoughts are. And then I always have a conceptual presentation that does include a lot of sketches because I love to draw. So for me, that's a great way to start. And then once from there, we start, kind of bringing it to life, showing them products, showing them. I mean, I do showroom visits, so sometimes if we do have the time and we do have the scope, I take them out to show to kind of or to see something, so they get a feel of exactly the effect we're trying to achieve. Um, and then we go into, um, you know, lighting calcs and just to see that everything works well. And then yeah, it's then the final step would always obviously be producing all the drawings, carry on with the lighting calcs, and do the control spec as well. We bring that into quite early.
Sure, sure. And then once the job goes, once the contractors are involved and the site's being built out,
Hmm.
I imagine you're going out to site, you're doing, punch list notes and those sorts of things as well.
Yeah, that's exactly what we do. I have been involved in a lot of projects where we aren't scoped till the end, so it's always probably stage D, and then that's it. It goes to tender, and then we don't get involved after that. So,
Gotcha.
I
Okay,
mean, yeah.
that's interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe this isn't quite the same in the UK as it is in the States, but in the States we've got for lighting designers, quite a few of them start in entertainment and they work in theatrical lighting or television lighting, and then they move their way into architectural lighting for a number of reasons.
Hmm.
Um, did you find that same sort of crossover in your end of the world, or is it more
Uh,
disciplined?
yes, I think it's more disciplined. I
Mm,
don't think I've come across any theatrical designers that have gone into lighting, really.
that's really interesting. That's
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. In the states, I think at least this is what that was my career path, and it's been the career path of several people that I've known.
Hmm.
We study lighting in college as in theatrical context, and so we
Hmm.
do lots of different shows. And then my first 5 or 6 years in the industry, I was a lighting designer for in theatrical work and television.
Hmm.
And then just the nature of the industry and wanting the stability of a sort of more stable career, I moved into architectural lighting. But what I came to find out was that was a very common career path for folks in New York
Yeah.
anyway. Which I guess what I would ask is, do you think that's an education thing in the UK? Because there's not a lot of formal lighting design education programs in the States.
No, there isn't any in the UK either. We all come from very different backgrounds, so even in my team, none of us studied the same uh, degree, which is quite interesting. And I found that I've met a lot of people who have done, my one of my colleagues is a product designer, the other one is an electrical engineer. I have an interior design background, so as a team, we're all varied,
Right.
and I think that's because, I mean, there isn't a degree in lighting in the UK apart from the masters that you can do. So, when I was studying, I never imagined I would fall into lighting.
That's really
Yeah.
interesting. So when did, how long have you been, we should have started with this. How long have you been a lighting designer?
It's been about 5 years now.
Okay, so 5 years, and you studied interior
Mhm.
design prior?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And do you think that, well, let me ask, what got you into lighting specifically? What took you from interior design to lighting design?
I almost just fell into it. I couldn't find a job as an interior designer in London because there wasn't just nobody wanted to hire a graduate really, and I lacked the experience. I came across a junior position for a lighting manufacturer as their designer, and I took it, and I got trained in house, and it was somebody once told me if you're going to work 3 months within the industry, you'll be here forever, and that's exactly what happened. I just fell in love with lighting from then on, and ever since then, I've just obsessed.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah,
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 and I mean, for me, it was working on a show in high school, that got me
yeah,
into it. But that's fantastic. That's really great. Um,
yeah.
so, where do you see, or I guess I should say, do you see a different role, or in terms of where you get your education? I think a lot traditionally, there's in the United States there's the IES, and there's of course internationally there's the IELD. Are you going more online and finding more stuff through social networks and social media? I feel like there's a growing community of letting people, letting manufacturers, who are sharing information. Is that a place you go consistently, or are you going to both traditional sources? I mean, where are you learning about lighting day to day?
Yeah, various things. I mean, especially in London, we have a lot of events, often weekly, from manufacturers who do seminars. SLL do so many different events. I did light paintings with them, and that
Yeah,
was really, really fun. But they often do events that are quite different. There's a lot of shows that I go to, and lighting festivals too, which just to get inspiration for designs and see building
yeah.
it differently.
There's so much more of that, I think, in London than there is. I mean, New York is we just had the international or the New York Festival of Light. It was the
Hmm.
first annual, and they're trying to do that and grow that as an event every year. But it's a slow growing thing, whereas in Europe, I feel like between what goes on in Germany every year, Paris,
Yeah,
London, there are
yeah,
sites across Europe that host really amazing lighting festivals, and I wish the United States would be
definitely.
quite get on the bandwagon and be.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
it's 2015, which means it's also the International Year of Light. So says
yeah.
the United Nations. Have you seen some activity in London around that, or?
Yeah, well, more not in London at the moment. It was a festival in Bath last week that I went to. That was part of it. There's events around Europe that I'm really interested in going to. Um, and there are shows I think that's coming up next month that I'll be attending. Actually, there's a good seminar on controls that I thought would be a nice something to kind of attend and see what they have to
Sure.
say. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Hmm.
we're starting to see the roster stateside of events grow a little bit. It's
Hmm.
so funny how I guess it's just a different mentality. European mentality is much more about international thought because you guys are an international,
Hmm.
continent, whereas in North America we kind of just think about North America, so it's limited in terms of
Yeah.
our what we imagine for the rest of the world.
Hmm.
But I'm hoping that we see that roster of events grow here stateside. Um, it, the last thing I'll ask you about is energy concerns. Are you seeing? I feel like Europe has been out in front on energy concerns when it comes to
Hmm.
lighting, um,
Yeah.
whereas the United States has been. We're starting to see now energy codes become stricter, and the need for energy efficient lighting come into the business. Where's your practice been on that, and what do you feel? How are the feelings about that across? And since you're working in the Middle East, are you seeing a
Yeah.
variation from Europe to the Middle East and what their concerns are for energy?
Yeah, definitely. I think. well, Middle East especially, are very much, I mean, they want to win, the energy awards. They want to make sure that they've saved, a certain amount. So prior to the design, I get a document that states exactly how many, watts per meter squared they want in their spaces. It's something that they've already figured out. Whereas in Europe, some maybe, not so many, not as many as we would like to, but for us it's still, I think it's it's a responsibility. You still want to make it as energy efficient as you can and where you can, but thankfully there are so many products out there which are great for that, so it helps. It definitely helps.
It's I love that you said that it's a responsibility, because there was a big debate here in the States when they started to phase out the incandescent light bulb. And a lot of traditionalist lighting designers came out and said, energy is not our concern. Our concern is making beautiful light, and let other people worry about energy or where the energy comes from. And I never really fell in with that. And so I got into some debates in the industry about what our responsibility was. But I really do believe that if you're in the lighting business, you're in the energy business. And you have to think about it. At least it's got to be a consideration when it goes into your design.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I agree. I mean, I was kind of involved straight into the LED generation, so I feel like it's, it's exactly what's been drilled into my head now, and I am all for it too.
I mean, we're seeing, at least in New York, the majority of specs for architectural lighting are LED specs. You'll get maybe a little bit of halogen here and there, and fluorescent is still around for certain applications, but we're seeing more and more people want LED, and so they're starting to get used to the metrics that you judge LED by in terms of color consistency and color rendering. People are used to the lumens per watt conversation now. I think that's getting there. But there's still. I was in a meeting the other day where people questions the value of LED over fluorescent, and it was a long conversation that we had to have. So I'll finish up with what's exciting you. What's the next sort of things that you want to work on, either on the creative front or the next sort of big design piece that you're working on? What's got you going?
Well, obviously Tottenham is really, it's something that I'm really passionate about at the moment. I don't support Tottenham or Spurs, but I am really interested in stadiums. But I mean, I want to do more. I want to really get involved in almost theatrical, because it's something I haven't done before. I'm very much architectural, whereas it would be nice to kind of create an event or a festival and get involved in that side, because I do so much architectural lighting. It'd be nice to kind of see how that differs from creating an event or a show or something really different.
Well, the biggest thing to find that's different is the timeline. You do everything in a very short window of time, which is fun. It's you got to move quick, which is the best part. Well, Krishna, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. And is the best place for people to find you if you want to be found on Twitter?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you've got an awesome Twitter feed, an awesome Instagram feed. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Great. Thank you.
All right. This is where I have to pull up my little goodbye piece. This is where George gets mad at me because he's got to edit this part out, because normally I should just be able to jump right into my closing. But thank you very much for joining us for another issue. This is my goodbye for the audience. So thank you very much for listening to another edition of the Lighting Guy Show. This is, my name is James Bedell. I'm the Lighting Guy. Thank you, AV Nation. Goodbye.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AV Nation.
This is AV Nation.